Cleveland's watching CBS This Morning.
On 19 WOIO.
Good evening, folks, and welcome back. I'm Tom. This is the Late Late Show, up and running now for January the 10th, 1995. The simulcast underway for Tuesday, early Wednesday in America with Dan Rostenkowski, the former member of Congress from Illinois, the poet Maya Angelou, and tonight, Elliot Forrest. You know, opening up last night, there was such a frenzy of activity around this place yesterday afternoon. I think we emptied out the Pepto-Bismol machine about 2 o'clock. And I neglected to mention that we call this program the simulcast because we are also on the CBS radio network, or offered to radio stations through same. And it begins with the Late Late radio show every night at 11 o'clock Eastern Time. And the main host there is a very nice man named Elliot Forrest. In fact, you might recall this man because back on The Gong Show, remember that with Chuck Berry years ago on NBC? He appeared one afternoon and ate fruit to the music from 2001. It was singular TV achievement. Since then, he has gone on to conduct award-winning programs for PBS and other radio and television networks. And along about 1 o'clock in the morning, since we do this as you watch it, we will poke our CBS eye into the CBS radio studios at the Broadcast Center. That'd be on West 57th Street in New York, New York, and we'll all get to see what Elliot Forrest looks like. As a matter of fact, part of the fun of this job, and I'm only 2 days into it, but at 8 o'clock Pacific time tonight, I went downstairs here at CBS Television City and went to a little tiny radio studio, and there talked on the radio with Elliot Forrest and Steve Allen, who was on the air tonight. And I must tell you, it is great fun to be on the radio. And for all of you listening on radio, we'll give you phone numbers as we go along. Tonight, I want to share with you just a little bit of what happened here in Southern California today, since it was the #1 story on most of your newscasts this afternoon. January has not been our greatest month in L.A. Last year we had the earthquakes on the 17th, and today, man, we got hit with rainfall here today. They had 10 inches in Santa Barbara, over 8 inches just north of Los Angeles, and there's a little area north of town here in Malibu, and if you want to roll the videotape, Ronnie, we'll take a look. Every year at about this same time, this area and this particular nursery, which is called Casatinos, gets hit. Look at the enormous amount of water flowing through there. And they lost the nursery today, hand-built by its owners after 22 years of operation. Now to a picture taken as you watch it. This is north of the city. This is the sheriff's first sweep through Malibu tonight in the Big Rock area, northwest of town, about 10 miles up the Pacific coast. The rains have subsided now. They say we'll have a fairly clear night here through the night, but then more water is coming in tomorrow as another Pacific cell comes on shore. This would not be the time to plan your Southern California good time vacation. What about Newark Airport yesterday? I'm sure you saw this in the papers this morning. It shut down all day yesterday and part of today because during a routine operation, some construction crews accidentally cut the one main power cable that operates all of Newark. Now, here's the 9th largest airport in America. It handles over 1,000 flights a day, and this one cable carried power for the luggage, for the radar, for the security. Power the whole airport except the control tower went out. And it was discovered during the day that the backup cable was right next to the main cable. So, jeez. I mean, these are the same people who, when they said, where should we put the fuel storage tanks for the airport? To put them right out there at the end of the runway. They can see them on takeoff if they get up in time. Anyway, Dan Rostenkowski is here tonight, the former member of Congress from Illinois, and a bit later on, your phone calls along the toll-free highway. Enjoy tonight's program. We're coming right back after these messages.
Seems it never rains in Southern California.
this was your car, if this was your baby, wouldn't you feel safer knowing this was your battery? The all-new Die Hard battery at Sears. It's the next generation of Die Hard, the longest lasting ever. Don't trust your family to anything less.
Ever run into the kind of stubborn dirt that literally brings you to your knees? Now you can stop all that scrubbing. Introducing Ultra Mr. Clean. So powerful, just one little capful beats twice as much of this regular cleaner. And while they struggle with greasy dirt, Ultra Mr. Clean works so much better. He helps you up off your knees and still cleans to the shine. Try new Ultra Mr. Clean in Lemon, Pine, or Mountain Falls, and Mr. Clean it to the Ultra Shine.
Charmin presents Evie Discovers Makeup.
Evie! Evie, are you in there?
Evie is about to discover something that feels as soft as the leading regular facial tissue, squeezably softer than any other bathroom tissue. It's Charmin Ultra.
Evie, what are you doing? Oh, Evie.
So cleaning all that stuff off
That's quite a color.
is even softer.
Little bitty pretty one.
It's not just softer, it's Charmin Ultra.
We're back, friends, joined by Congressman Dan Rostenkowski, who is now a civilian after almost 40 years in public life. But he also faces a legal battle now. His future is uncertain, but he's flown in from Chicago to join us here in Los Angeles tonight, and thanks for coming in, Mr. Rostenkowski. If I call you Dan.
Sure, Tom.
As you sat, and I'm assuming you watched the transfer of power in the House last week, where the Republicans took control of that chamber after 40 years of control. You'd spent 34 years there, winding up as chairman of the House Ways and Means Committee and one of its most powerful members. Your thoughts as you watched all this pass to the other side?
Well, actually, you know, I never viewed myself as, you know, a Neanderthal man in politics. But then again, I remember Sam Rayburn, because I served with him, and Joe Martin, who was the former Republican Speaker.
Surely.
And when you think about 36 years of political service, I remember walking around the halls of Congress, looking at the old fossils, the Rayburns and the Brent Spences, and I think, my gosh.
Don't they ever want to quit?
Yeah, don't they? And here it is, 36 years later, and a change.
Yeah.
You know, I certainly didn't look forward to retirement. But
or you would have preferred to say, I do not choose to run for another term. Right.
But the fact of the matter, Tom, is the change, being in the minority, it's not that large a medicine ball to swallow. But I think it's good. I mean, I think that there comes a time...
You're kidding. You think that the Republicans running the Congress is good?
Let me tell you what happens. When you wind up running Congress for as long a period of time as we have, I think that you get yourself entrenched and you build up situations that you cannot sweep out. I don't know that...
Like what?
Well, I think that we did have...
Like the private bank, maybe?
No, I'm not talking about the bank. Because that was eliminated before the change.
Right.
I'm talking about legislative service organizations. I mean, when you wind up, and I, as a member, didn't realize that we had that many legislative service organizations, meaning Steel Caucus, Urban Caucus, Rural Caucus, Women's Caucus.
Oh, it goes on forever.
Spending money in this area. I think that there was even a feeling, and I'll tell you this, when Tip O'Neill took over the speakership, what we tried to do was consolidate the Aging Committee into the Judiciary Committee, which has the authority. And Tip O'Neill, as Speaker, suggested that this ought to happen. Well, you remember Claude Pepper.
Yes, I do.
Well, he got on television, and he got on the floor of the House of Representatives.
And he went crazy.
And he chased us all over town. Yeah. We, with the Speaker's intentions of modernizing Congress, we got 52 votes. Now, those are the problems that I think you have to register and focus on, because the change is not all that bad. because even those of us that were in the majority would have liked to have gotten rid of some of the excess baggage.
Let me ask you something here about Republicans and Democrats. Would you agree with the proposition offered by George Wallace more than 20 years ago, that there really isn't a dime's worth of difference between you when it comes to spending money? Isn't it the function of government to spend money in an effort to serve the people? And don't you really wind up spending all the money? I mean, you guys have spent all the parking meter money, all the highway money, all the pension money, you spend it all.
Well, you know, you've got a constituency out there that wants it. What's going to happen in the next 2 years is the very people that have so-called instructed the Congress to cut back are going to be the very people that are going to have the suffering. Now, whether or not in cutting back the programs, they're going to be able to endure the suffering.
Okay, I understand that, but let me tell you, it's tough being an American today. Have you tried to buy stamps at a post office lately? It's a horror story. Have you renewed your driver's license lately? It's a horror story. Every time you get in contact with government, it's a fight to the finish in this country. Why can't government make it easier for people to conduct their lives, rather than going through all these committee assignments that you just talked about here?
Well, I think, too, that, you know, the more people that get involved in government, the tougher it is to govern. You wind up having people that are exposed to this media, that are becoming involved. And I heard one talk show where a person read the GATT agreement and said that it was something in the neighborhood of 30,000 pages, and he wasn't satisfied, and that he wasn't going to endorse the GATT agreement because he didn't feel that, that he had an opportunity to read the whole thing. Yeah. I mean, that's why I think it's going to be very, very sensitive for members of Congress, with all the exposure and all the pressure groups that are going to have their pipe in to the legislative process to govern.
You know, I have to ask you about these indictments. I have to ask you this question. Sure. And you probably have the answer ready. When you going in? No.
Well, that's not even funny. I think that the due process is taking place. My lawyer, Dan Webb, an outstanding member of the bar in Chicago, has given me certain instructions that I'm not to.
I understand that.
This.
Right.
And I don't. I think that when the process is concluded, I'll be on this talk show throwing a barb at you.
Let me ask you a question here, and I don't mean to be insensitive to your years of service that you've given this country, but when you read about yourself and you see the words indicted after your name, this must cause you some pain. Sure, it does. It's a world of hurt for you.
Well, I think if you view your public service, and who doesn't want to write history that reflects credit? I've done some pretty good things as chairman of the Committee on Ways and Means. You know, we solved whether or not people want to recognize this in 1984 and 85, the solvency problem of Social Security. We passed other forms of legislation that are very important to the American people. The welfare system that we worked with Ronald Reagan on. The GATT, the NAFTA agreement, the '86 Tax Reform Act, which was monumental.
Are you saying welfare is a big hit today, that it's successful?
No, but I think that it's got to be addressed. The problem with addressing welfare is, what does the constituency that's viewing this program interpret welfare as being? If we're going to take poor people with children off the welfare rolls, we're going to have to educate them into how to live and what to be able to do, and that will cost money. The other person thinks that, well, oh heck, it's some poor individual sitting on a curbstone just eating up a welfare check, or it's some poor mother with 3 children only having children to produce welfare checks.
And there are many people, by the way, who believe that. Well, that is their perception of welfare.
And there's no question about that. But that attitude is not going to help us address in government the problems of welfare.
You are correct. You're absolutely right. That attitude will not. But then how does government change that attitude? How do you say to people, look, welfare in this country is not designed, is not set up for women to bear children for the sole purpose of collecting a welfare check, because there are millions of people who have that belief, sir.
Well, and I don't disagree with that, and that's why I think that it's going to take people in the media. I think it's going to take people that are in the home every night to help us educate the American people.
It has been said, you know, that if we took all the money that is earmarked for poor in this country and administered through various governmental agencies at the federal, state, and local level, and instead of setting up a bureaucracy to administer those funds, paid poor people that money, that we could give every family in America enough money to subsist for a year. That maybe we're putting too much money into bureaucracy and not enough into people. Would you share that at all?
Well, that may be true. I don't know.
Nor do I.
Where the analysis comes from, but I do think that it's such a small percentage of our budget. But you know, the future of this country is in the youth that we're going to educate.
Yes, sir.
And if we don't have a well-rounded education for all the children in this country, you know, it amazes me how small the world has grown, and people better start realizing this.
Except that you can have the finest school system in the world up in operation, but if 45% of the students drop out of high school, it doesn't make any difference how good the schools are if they're not in the classroom.
Well, I don't disagree with that at all, Tom.
I know. And as I want to talk with Maya Angelou later on, there are far too many young people who feel that their only chance in America is to hit the lottery. And I want less people to feel that that is true and that more have a shot at the American dream in traditional ways rather than buying a lotto ticket every week at the supermarket. I have a concern about that.
You know, it should irritate the American people if you're driving down the highway and see a big sign about, you know, $7 million is available in a lotto. I mean, I don't appreciate that.
It irritates me.
But, you know, it's what the spoon-fed constituent of this media is absorbing. I mean, it's a problem for us.
It's our fault, huh?
Well, I think partly it is. I think that the media has an obligation to try to educate people, to help us govern.
All right, then let me educate right now. I read a little statistic, and I'm going to the commercial here in just 1 second. You know, we'll be off right on time, believe me. In Marin County last year, 5,760,000 people bought a California Super Lotto ticket. Out of 5,760,000, guess how many won? 0. What does that tell you? The odds are against you, folks, on the lottery. We are with Dan Rostenkowski. The telephone number is up and running on both radio and television nationwide at 1-800-95-CBS-TV. That's 800-95-22788. We will continue after a short timeout.
When you can trust something and know it'll come through for you, that's everything. One of the things we focused on with the new DeVille Concours was making it reliable. We designed the North Star system so that if it ever lost all of its engine coolant, you'd still be able to drive a DeVille Concours up to 50 miles to safety, even in desert heat. You may never need it, but it'll be there for you. There's a car company that cares enough to give you this kind of dependability. That's my company, Cadillac.
Now that Hidden Valley makes ready-to-eat dips, people are diving in. Dive into new Hidden Valley dips, now in the salad dressing aisle.
When you're the eyes and ears of a million people, you can't let your stomach get in the way. So I carry Snickers.
Roasted peanuts, milk chocolate, caramel. Snickers satisfies.
Wednesday, Marilyn visits Joel.
I'm not the same Joel Fleischman.
But is he really gone native?
You eat bear fat?
Northern Exposure, now on Wednesday. Get live with CBS on Prodigy, the nation's most popular online service. Go behind the scenes of The Late Late Show with Tom Snyder. Talk with Tom and his guests online. Tell us what you think. Get program information. Even take a special Tom Snyder trivia quiz. To order Prodigy, call 1-800-PRODIGY and ask for the CBS offer today.
Ladies and gentlemen, now's the time to save on cable TV and the premium channels. Cable is late-breaking news, the hottest videos, sports that just won't quit. Cable is fun, fast, and round the clock. And it really swings with the non-stop excitement of the premium channels. HBO, Showtime, Cinemax, The movie channel. So get to your phone now and save. Call 1-800-CABLE-ME and get installation for as little as $5 when you subscribe to Cable and Premium TV. That's right, as little as $5 installation. Plus, you'll get a 20% savings certificate from the Lillian Vernon catalog. It's a great deal, so call today. Cable TV and the Premium channels. Get them now.
What do you create when you open a can of soup? A noise, maybe? This was created a long time ago. You just reheat it. Now this is new Kettle Creations. Homemade taste you create fresh in 30 minutes. They even created a window so you can see all the pasta and beans. With Kettle Creations, there's a moment when you actually create soup. You could be part of that moment. Ah, there it is. New Lipton Kettle Creations. Soup so good, it's uncanny.
We're with Dan Rostenkowski, former member of Congress, Dan Rostenkowski, and here is Gary in Melrose Park, Illinois, which I believe is in your district.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Gary, you're on the air. Hello.
Yes, Tom, thank you. Hello, Mr. Rostenkowski. I'd like to first say that we appreciate what you've done for the 5th District that we vote in. My wife and I and our family support you and hope that once you're able to clear your name, that you will fight back against the people that were out to get your job from day one.
Well, thank you,
Gary. I hope you will fight back.
That's very nice of you.
Did you have a question, Gary, or just that statement?
Well, that, and I also, you know, people don't realize what he's done for the 5th District in the city of Chicago and people in Illinois. The money he's brought into this state, no one realizes how much he's brought to this state.
All right, Gary, I'm glad you called. Thanks.
Dan, we thank you.
You know, the part of the story, I mean, you know, America reads how, you know, congressmen have the bank and congressmen have private airplanes and congressmen have their own restaurants. But they seldom read stories. I mean, what did you miss of your kids growing up being a congressman?
Well, that's always a problem, you know.
But, I mean, there are no headlines about that. There are headlines about indictments and there are headlines about malfeasance, but no headlines about these guys miss a lot of family.
Tom, I was one of the first, I think, to establish, you know, a constant transportation movement from Chicago to Illinois. As a matter of fact, Bob Michael, who was the minority leader, and I and Harold Collier used to share a station wagon driving up and back to and from Chicago when we were only paid one transportation trip.
From Chicago to where?
To Washington.
Really? In a station wagon?
Yes, in a station wagon.
Well, where was Air Force 2?
One. There still is no Air Force 2. But there are going to be some tough decisions that are going to be made in the very near future. And I think you're absolutely right. I mean, you can talk about an airport parking area, or you can talk about eliminating a job in an elevator. But when you're going to start talking about what are we going to do about the deficit, and how are we going to solve the problems of welfare, and what are we going to do about Social Security, and where are we going with respect to the programs that people are enjoying, those are the tough votes that these new members are going to have to make, and I hope that they've got the steel in their stomach to do it.
Here is Francis on the toll-free in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Hello.
Good morning, Tom. Good morning,
Hi, how you doing, Francis?
Rostenkowski.
Hi, Tom.
One brief question, if I may.
Sure.
You were king of the hill, sir, when you were up there. I lived in Washington, D.C. for a little while. Everybody respected you. Everybody feared you. Now, in one fell swoop, the voters tossed you out, partly because of your personal problems. But do you have any advice that you're passing on to other senior congressmen that are maybe preparing them or maybe warning them, or maybe they're doing things a little differently?
Well, I think the one experience that I enjoyed was the transformation of being the local politician to becoming the national politician.
Correct.
If senior members aren't going to take leadership positions and take the tough votes and give some leadership to the junior members, and I call that cover. It's one thing, you know, to put together legislation in a committee like Ways and Means, and to have your younger members very nervous about it because they're first or second termers.
Right.
I think what you've got to do is lay out the pattern so that you can give them the cover to say, well, listen, this is what the leadership thinks is necessary. This is what the chairman wants us to do, and you know, it's tough for me to take on the chairman. Now that's cover. I don't know that we're not that they wouldn't do exactly what we do as far as formulating legislation, but But it's going to be tough with this new generation of membership.
And probably, Francis, because of the way the electorate now is in terms of volatility and wanting quick fixes, there probably aren't too many guys and gals who are going to serve 17, 18, 19 terms in Congress as you have done.
You're absolutely... Well, if term limitation goes through, Tom, there's not going to be...
And by the way, that's a double-edged sword. You say, well, if somebody's in office too long, they get sloppy. Well, that's one edge of the sword. The other is, if they're in and out so fast, nobody ever gets any chance to really do anything.
Well,
I agree.
Plus the fact that, being in public service in Washington, and particularly, is an educational process.
I'm sure it is.
And you really have to learn what you're doing as chairman of a committee, and that's why in most instances senior members are so effective. I think that changing the guard, the term limitations argument, 50% of the Congress has been elected since 1990. That's only 4 years.
Yeah. And by the way, term limitations are there. Every 2 years, you're up for it. There's the greatest limitation of all.
Expires.
Francis, I'm out of time. Thanks for calling us, my friend.
Letterman loves you.
Okay. Hey,
Take care.
That's good to hear. Thank you.
I'm serious. I just got done with him. He loves you.
Okay. Thanks, Francis. Good night now. Dan, I wish you well. And when it's all over, you have an invitation to come back here and throw one my way, kid.
Well, I sure will.
All right. Good luck to you, sir, and thanks for joining us. Dan Rostenkowski, Congressman from Illinois, who will be back at some future time. We will continue and meet Elliot Forrest after these messages.
AT&T, this is Matt.
AT&T True USA Savings.
Yes, sir.
Bottom line it for me.
Just make $25 in calls a month, and we'll subtract 20% off your AT&T bill.
Yeah, but 20% off calls to whom?
To anybody.
Anybody, or just certain anybody?
Yeah, absolutely anybody in the U.S. It's our best program
What
ever.
about Martians?
Calls to people on Mars?
No. Martians living in the U.S.
Oh, sure, to them, too.
Really?
AT&T True USA Savings. Save 20% to anybody, anytime, anywhere.
Your true voice. Time to get up.
Wake up to Folgers Decaffeinated. It's not just a great decaffeinated, it's a great coffee. With all the mountain-grown aroma and taste of regular Folgers. In fact, if you didn't know it was decaffeinated...
Coffee? I was thinking maybe we should start drinking decaffeinated coffee.
Decaffeinated? But how could a decaffeinator wake me up like this does?
Best part of waking up. Even decaffeinated.
Folgers in your cup. Is Suzanne ready for the Washington social scene?
Everybody, there was a writer who had a PhD or one of those, what do you call it, Roxanne Pulitzer deals.
Women of the house. Then, is the new secretary a serial killer?
She is kind of weird.
What color would she like, John?
Oh, it really doesn't matter, Lou.
Truth.
Pink. I'll take blue.
New rules, new night, Wednesday.
Thursday.
You're in a nightmare filled with monsters that bite, that crawl, that kill. A nightmare more terrifying because it's real. Welcome to nature's dark side. Welcome to Predators of the Wild, an intense journey through a real-life chamber of horrors. From Time Life Video, face creatures so fearsome only the brave dare get close enough to film them. Lightning-fast fangs, spiders that launch missiles, bone-crushing jaws. Lethal weapons in an ancient war of survival seem so close. They will make your skin crawl. Call this toll-free number now and begin your journey to the shadow world with Giant Tarantula, yours for just $9.99. Confront a spider that measures a foot across, has 1-inch fangs, and venom so powerful it dissolves its victims from the inside out, yet is considered a tasty snack by local Indians. Other videos take you deeper into the shadow world with Snake, Wolf, and Hunters and the Hunted. Meet savage giants, acid-spitting snakes, and grisly war parties that show their victims no mercy. But be warned, the camera doesn't flinch, so you probably will. Call now to get Giant Tarantula for just $9.99. Keep only the tapes you want. There's never a commitment to buy. So call now and stare into the eyes of a monster. And try not to blink.
To order Predators, call 1-800-423-9700. That's 1-800-423-9700. or send $9.99 plus $3.49 shipping and handling to Predators, Department 1, Richmond, Virginia 23280.
Can save a child's life. Your child's life. Safe kids, buckle up.
Just here adjusting my tie. If I weren't on television, I could do it perfectly. Tomorrow night, Arianna Huffington joins us. Her husband was almost elected senator from California, and the rapper Ice-T will be here. Just around the corner is my friend Maya Angelou. One of the neat things about our new show here at CBS is the radio simulcast. No matter where you are, you have no excuse to miss this. And I want you to meet the host of the radio portion of the show, Elliot Forrest, who joins us now from the CBS Broadcast Center in Manhattan, New York. Hi, Elliot. Thanks for coming on, and welcome to the simulcast,
Hi,
young man.
Tom.
How you doing?
How
okay?
are you? Hey, it's good to see you.
Give us a little tour there. What are those things on your left and right? They look like television sets.
Well, I have a television set that basically tells me who the callers are.
Okay.
Like your show and my show, this is live. I don't think I'm giving anything away to say that Mr. Letterman and some of the other shows are taped delay, but you're live, I'm live. We take calls. People from all over the country are able to call into your show and my show as well. So that's where I find out where the callers are. Over here, the news. I got the news right as it happens.
Okay,
right
you mean on our show?
On our show.
Our show. Now, tonight, as I told the crowd here when I started, it was really fun to go downstairs here at CBS West to the basement. They've got this little radio studio down there, and all of a sudden I'm talking with Elliot and Steve Allen, and I got such a kick out of it. It was just great.
It's great. It's great to have you a part of the radio show. We've got some great guests here, as you do, and it's great to have you on the radio with us as well.
What about the time you were on the Gong Show with our friend Chuck Barris? Now, I don't mean to put you on the spot or embarrass you, young man, but what, you ate fruit or something? What was the story there?
I was young, I was impressionable. What can I tell you? I was looking for a break in show business.
Right.
I had an act that I did in my hometown in Midland, Texas, and everyone said, hey, it's really funny. And Chuck Barris had just started this wacky new show called The Gong Show, and everyone said, hey, go do it. So I did it, and they liked it, and they asked me back for the nighttime version, and I was on with Gary Owens at the nighttime version as well. And thanks so much for bringing it up.
And what was the act, as long as we've gone this far?
I peeled a banana, and I ate it to Also Sprach Zarathustra, which is the 2001 Space Odyssey theme.
What's so unusual about that?
Well, it's sort of a comedy thing. It's a visual mime. You'd have to see it, Tom.
And since then, just take the folks on a brief tour of your life on radio and television.
I started in broadcasting on the radio in Texas, and then I was on the radio in Kansas City, and I've been on the radio here in New York for about the past 10 years. And I host 2 shows on A&E, on the Arts and Entertainment Television Network, Breakfast with the Arts and Stage. I still do that.
Very good.
That's seen on A&E, and now this great radio show together with you.
Well, I know it's great fun for you, and it's great fun for us to be a part of radio. In fact, we almost insisted on it as part of this operation. And I want your audience, our audience, to know that I'm going to try and get down to the radio station, studio, whatever it is down there, and that's about a half an hour from now, and just spend a few minutes with you and see how it's going. I'm going to do my best to do that. If I get tied up, you'll understand.
I completely understand that. You're always welcome. We appreciate you talking to us on the radio before or after your television show.
Our television show.
Our television show.
Just for now. Thanks for this, my friend, and I'll see you on radio in about 25 or 30 minutes, and you folks can join us on the toll-free line, okay?
Okay, thanks, Tom.
All right, terrific. Well, by the way, this is not the only time we plan to do this.
Great. Eddie, you're welcome anytime.
All right, so get more shirts.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Elliot Forrest on our simulcast here on CBS Radio and Television at 800-95 CBS TV. Back with Maya Angelou and more of your phone calls after these brief messages. Thanks for watching, everybody.
What a great day to buy a car.
I thought the days of women being treated differently than men were long gone.
This is the vanity mirror so you can check your makeup.
Then I tried to buy a car. Something reliable,
It's safe.
sporty.
How much you looking to spend?
I want to spend about $12,000.
Rich can help you out. I'll be back to you soon, okay?
When I got to Saturn, Dave Pierce took the time to answer all my questions. Not only did I buy a Saturn, I thought it might be fun to sell them. You know what I like best about working here? Showing guys the vanity mirror.
One is a master of time.
There can be only one.
The other, a master of illusion.
Highlander's out there, and he owes me 400 years.
Two supernatural forces from the past are about to wage war in the present. On Friday, January 27th, take the journey. Highlander, the final dimension. Rated PG-13. Starts January 27th at theaters everywhere.
What's the matter, son?
I'm kind of worried about a package I sent out for Mr. Jones.
Cup of coffee? Well, sending out that package is a big responsibility. Jones knows you'll come through. Hard work, faith, trust in each other. That's what it's all about. Besides, in over 20 years, FedEx has never let me down.
What if I didn't use FedEx?
Well, then, you're dead.
Next time, use FedEx.
Hit the lights on your way out.
Introducing Tidy Scoop with Dust Trap, a revolutionary new ingredient that pours so clean, it's gonna leave all those other scooping fillers in the dust. Make it tidy all the time.
It's the creamiest Velveeta shells and cheese.
Only one can be the creamiest, because only one is made with real Velveeta cheese sauce. Some lookalikes are made with oil. So if you want the creamiest, there's still only one.
Velveeta shells and cheese.
Thursday, Eye to Eye. This pesticide is everywhere. Works great on bugs, but what's it doing to you?
We were breathing it, drinking it, touching it.
Eye to Eye, Thursday.
And then 48 hours. Is this the cure for cancer? She bet her life on it. Do medical miracles really exist? 48 hours, Thursday.
Hi, it's me, Mighty Morphin Dave.
Tonight, Dave welcomes Aiden Quinn.
Here's the good news, still just 25 cents a show.
Tonight.
One week only, friends. We're out here at Helene Chevrolet. We're on the lot right now saying $3,000 minimum trade. You heard me right. $3,000 minimum for your trade. Stop. Get on out here to Helene Chevrolet before the deadline this Monday night. Say to yourself, how much could my good trade be worth? $5,000? $10,000? Come on down and find out. $3,000 is the minimum till the deadline Monday. Helene Chevrolet, half mile west of the Great Northern Mall. Helene Chevrolet.
You know, I met Maya Angelou when I was working over at CNBC about 3 or 4 months ago in Fort Lee, New Jersey. And I'm not reading this off prompter, but I had seen you at the inaugural for Mr. Clinton some years ago, and I imagined you as this imposing and formidable woman of great accomplishment and intelligence. And I found you to be the warmest and funniest when you had your little hat on, and I said, what would you do if you said, don't touch my hat? And I just had such a wonderful time with you, and I'm so happy that you could join us here tonight at CBS. I know you got a bit of a cold, but you're a trooper, and I really appreciate it.
Thank you very much. But you see, you just met me, but I've known you these many years.
Yeah, right. You're on to me, aren't you?
I'm really on to you. And just about a year ago, I suppose, I saw you one evening discussing a dinner you had in France. Or maybe it was Italy, but I think it was it Italy?
Italy, yes.
And each one of the courses, you were enjoying it again, and the wine that went with, and the fact that at the very end, there was either an Armagnac or a cognac or something, and
correct.
You crossed your legs and discussed the Armagnac, and I just fell on the floor. It's the right way to discuss and to relate a story like that. So I was there with you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You know, the last time we spoke on television, we wound up talking about the fact that there are so many young people in America who think they have no chance here because they're African American, because they're Hispanic, because they're poor. And I remember you and I saying, you know, how do we get rid of that feeling? How do we convince all the young folks that, hey, you got a shot here?
Yes. Well, the only way we can convince them.
And I mean, I assume you believe that.
Yes, I do believe it. But the only way we can convince them, Tom, is that we are convinced. Not that we say it, but we really have to be convinced. And in order to be convinced, we have to be active in finding jobs for those young men and women, finding places for them, so that when we tell them you are of value, you are wanted, then we have to mean, because young people, you know, they're still so close to the innocence of childhood. No matter how they talk, like they're like, hey, you know, they're still so close to the innocence.
Would that include Ice-T?
Yes, of course.
Okay.
It includes Ice-T. It includes all the poor white kids, all the Spanish-speaking, the Asian kids. They are still so close to innocence that they can see through you. They really can. So if you say, I really want to see that you have a fair shake in the world, and oops, where's my Rolls Royce? Oh yeah, okay.
Armagnac, yeah, I know. I hear you. I hear you.
So they can see through you, and we have to. I was interested listening to your interview with Mr. Rostenkowski. I thought it was really very good.
Thank you.
I enjoyed it. Also, I know that he means he's a sincere man who is a politico. He is a politico.
Why do you smile when you say
know, I mean, that means that he's been around. There's a song with Ray Charles and Hank Williams Jr. And the line is, we've been down a whole lot of alleys and kicked a whole lot of cans. He has done that.
Yeah.
So, but you were able to let us see him as a human being. Then that was really very good. Well, the very people, the Newt Gingriches and the men and women in the new group coming in.
The Republican tide.
Yes. They must know that they are our leaders. They're not the people I voted for. But I'm an American. And so those kids on the South Side in Chicago, and the kids in the Indian reservations, and the kids in West Virginia, up in the mountains.
Buttermilk Bottoms in Atlanta.
All those children are their constituents. And they have got to look after those children and care enough, have enough courage to care.
Newt Gingrich is a politico, isn't he?
Yes, he is. He's a politico. He will dance. He'd be able to dance a very good dance. But, I mean, he can do toe dance to make Sid Charisse look like a klutz.
By the way, he's done a lot of dancing this week, hasn't he?
Ooh,
talk
then
about
he
the
pull back and pull forward. But, you know, I understand.
A wicked waltz.
But he has had to do it, and he's smart enough to do it. I wish he was also smart enough. I believe he is smart enough. I would encourage him to be smart enough to be the leader of all the Americans.
Absolutely.
All of us.
Absolutely.
And we look every which way. We look like anything you can imagine. We are sometimes sitting on the back of porches in Georgia. Sometimes we are in Boston and white as I don't know what, and have never left Boston, the back bay of Boston.
That'd be a sheep. White as a sheep.
Well, I wasn't going to say that. The sheet and black America, you know, that kind of connotation is so bad.
Yeah.
But
white as a newly painted fence.
That's okay. I like that. But also, we are in New Jersey as jewelers, and we are Hasidic Jews with curls. And we are everything. We are Buddhists, and we are Baptists.
But we talked about this the last time. We're all Americans.
I know. This is it.
And sometimes that gets lost. You know,
I
I have respect for the multiplicity of our cultures, for the Hispanic culture, the African culture, Italian, but we're all Americans.
That's it.
We live in this country. We're stuck here.
So, and happily so. Happily, it's a fabulous country. I'm very proud to be an American. I'm proud of what we've achieved. I'm proud of what we have yet to achieve. I'm proud of the moxie. It takes a lot of moxie to be an American.
Yeah.
God.
Now, that means that Marion Barry should be the mayor of all the people in Washington, right?
He is. But he is, and he is. You know, I've been a supporter of Marion Barry.
I know you have.
I wasn't when he was mayor.
Really?
No. I mean, I liked him and all that.
But you weren't for him.
But I wasn't in his camp. But when he fell, I wasn't in his camp when he fell. But that he had the temerity to stand in front of the entire world and start to build himself up again.
coming back.
I'm coming back, and still I rise. That was the most amazing public event for me, because it says to the poor black, the poor white, the Asian, Spanish-speaking, Native American, the Jew, it says you've been paid for already. Somebody has already paid for you. Try to pull yourself up.
And if he can do it, why can't you? Why can't any of us, right?
Exactly, exactly.
Let me pause here for a couple of seconds. We're with Maya Angelou at 800-95, CBS TV. Why do we have so many phone numbers? Just a plain old number. 1-800-952-2788. Dial it up. See what happens. Take a chance. It's our nickel. Now this short commercial break.
So what's the big deal about some 99-cent burger? Heck, I can get a roll of duct tape for 99 cents. Doesn't mean I want to make it my lunch. But right now, I can get a plain raw Whopper for just 99 cents. Now that's lunch.
Burger King, get your burger's worth.
I'm going to put something in front of you, Kathleen, okay? What do you smell?
I don't smell anything.
That's a bad cold you got there. I have a nasal spray I want to give you. Now what do you smell?
I smell orange.
Yeah.
This is wild. Tristan.
Tristan 12-hour nasal spray.
This stuff works.
How fast can you begin to feel relief from a cold? Depends. How fast can you open a Halls with vapor action? Halls vapor action means instant action. Only from the halls of medicine.
Chew on this. Down in Austin, the hottest places to eat ribs are the hardest places to brush your teeth. Now chew on this. Chewing Trident with NutraSweet after meals can actually help you fight cavities. So when you can't brush, chew on this. Trident.
On the next Ricky Lake, check this out. Do you really think that you are better than everybody else?
The most beautiful thing in the world.
You
can never look as good as me, okay? I have not only the body, the looks, but I also have brains.
You're all that, huh?
And some.
You are not all that. I'm all that. She thinks she's hot.
I look like Janet Jackson. Everybody says it.
But her friend says she's not.
She's absolutely terrible.
I'll take that as a compliment, thank you.
Don't miss the next Ricky Lake.
Wednesday at 4 on 19.
You know, I thought I'd save big with this stuff, but my Downy turned out to be the real value. I poured more of this other softener into every wash, went through it like water, hoping for Downy's great softness. This one bottle of Downy softened a lot more. 8 towels, 68 pairs of socks, 13 blouses, 8 baby blankets, 4 sheets, 34 t-shirts, 5 pairs of jeans. That's 7 more loads with Downy. If all the softness isn't a value, I don't know what is.
Downy softness is the real value.
It's time to get the message out to criminals. Guardian Protection will install a professional, police-directed alarm in your home absolutely free. No gimmick. All you pay is our standard $24.95 monthly monitoring fee. Plus, I'll guarantee you'll be 100% satisfied in the first 30 days, or I'll remove it. So call 1-800-PROTECT. That's 1-800-PROTECT. Guardian Protection's free installation. America's best alarm value, period.
Hey, Cleveland. This is Cleveland Browns football. Learn all there is to know. Browns Insider, Sundays at 11 on 19.
We're with Maya Angelou, who is here tonight after appearing at the Los Angeles Dorothy Chandler Pavilion on Sunday, sold-out audience. What kind of a crowd comes to see you? Is it all of us?
Well, all of us.
Yeah,
there's some black ones and some white ones. Yeah. And some Spanish-speaking Native American and Asian ones.
Men, women,
and some fat ones and some thin ones. And I'm very blessed that people care for me. But they care for me because they know I care for them.
You've been caring for us for a long time, young lady.
Thank you.
3 decades now since that book came out.
Cage Bird. I know how the Cage Bird says.
Yeah.
Came out 25 years ago. And it's almost 2 years on the bestseller list.
What is the difference to a writer, the difference in the process of writing prose and poetry?
Well, I don't know. It depends on what time of day you ask the writer. Really? No, because...
Well, it's about 1:25 in the morning. What would be the 1:25 difference? Was
Nathaniel Hawthorne said easy reading is damned hard writing.
Yeah, yeah.
So to write so well, whether it's poetry or prose, that the reader thinks she has written it, is that's what I reach for. And the best compliment I ever received, I receive in airports where people walk up and say, Dr. Angelou, I wrote your book last year. I said, thank you, honey.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you,
I
sweetheart.
wrote your book last
That's
year.
right.
Very good. Do you ever write stuff that you don't want anybody else to see? Just guilty? You ever write like limericks or...
Oh, no, I wouldn't stop letting other people see it. I write a lot of, it was a mat that he sat. It was not a cat, but a rat. Oh, I write a lot of, some of the worst.
Like gibberish.
Yeah,
yeah,
of course. And I don't mind showing it. Not everything I do has to be a masterpiece.
Gotcha.
I try for it. But that's like saying every dish I cook must be gourmet and must be beyond a reproach like Caesar's wife. No, I do the best I can and I'm finished with it.
Gotcha. I know the feeling. Here's Doug joining us on the toll-free from Washington, D.C. Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Congratulations, Tom, on the show.
Oh, thanks. How's it going? Okay, Doug?
It's going great.
Great.
And my question for Maya Angelou is, I wanted to find out if it was true that the poem that she did for the president was based on her experience, an outdoor wilderness experience called Outward Bound.
Oh, no. My poem was based on 3 African-American spirituals. One, it says a rock, a river, a tree. One was the rock, which is a 19th century spiritual, which is, oh, I went to the rock to hide my face. Rock cried out, no hiding place, no hiding place down here. And so you find those lyrics in my poem. And for the tree, there was my grandmother's favorite song, which was, I shall not be moved. I shall not be moved, just like a tree that's planted by the water. I shall not be moved. And then the last was water. And it really is deep river. My home is over Jordan. So the 3 symbols came from the African-American spiritual genius. Thank you.
I'm glad you called, Doug. Anything else?
Well, I had just heard that she had been on that Outward Bound program and had collaborated with somebody on the poem.
No, I've never been on, but someone tried very hard to claim that I had plagiarized from some poem he had done. And but the lyric in my poetry is evident from the 19th and 20th century spirituals. Thank you.
Thank you, Tom.
Okay, Doug, thanks for calling. Thanks for watching. Hope to talk to you soon. And boy, I'll tell you, when they leave quickly, don't they? And thank you for sharing the songs of your grandmother with us tonight.
Yes,
you know, that was very, very nice, and we appreciate it.
Thank you.
I want your call to go away real fast.
I do, too.
And I want you to come back here whenever you feel like
and
it.
I want to talk about the movie I'm doing.
And
great movie called...
yeah, it's called The Quilt.
How to Make an American Quilt, with Anne Bancroft, Ellen Burstyn, Lois Smith, Kate Nelligan, Winona Ryder,
executive producer Steven
Gene Simmons,
and then you've got a project with Norman Lear called Maya Angelou's America.
Yes, Mr. Lear is doing that.
It's got to be next time. Is that fair?
Okay, but I want to have a lot of time. I'm not playing.
Okay.
I want a lot of time. Okay.
Lady, you got it.
Thank you, sir.
That's a deal.
That's a deal.
All right. Thank you, ma'am. Maya Angelou, folks, on The Late Late Show for Tuesday, early Wednesday. Back to wrap after these messages.
my school, you can't make mistakes. I get hungry, I reach for Snickers.
Roasted peanuts, milk chocolate, caramel. Snickers satisfies.
Hey, did you know the National Home Appliance Sale is on at Sears Brand Central?
I've been waiting for it.
Well, you can save $60 on this washer-dryer pair.
Well, I may even break down and do the laundry.
It's Sears' lowest price ever.
You can't beat that.
True. Save on great brands, too. GE, Genair, Sony, Apple, and more.
No wonder they call it Brand Central.
Right. You know the National Home Appliance Sale is one of the biggest events of the year, so you're not going to miss it, are you?
Miss it? You gotta be kidding.
At Sears Brand Central.
This summer, we invited everyone who owns a Saturn to visit Spring Hill, a Saturn homecoming. They could see where their cars were built and meet the people who built them. We could thank them for believing in us. 44,000 people spent their vacations with us at a car plant. Of course, not everything went exactly as planned, but we were all in it together, the way we always have been.
My husband is a dentist. He recommended it to me and got my interest up.
This is Tartar Control Mentadent with fluoride, baking soda, and peroxide. Mentadent helps stop tartar before it forms. Tartar Control Mentadent.
It has everything that I need.
You know you can get salmonella poisoning from bacteria in undercooked food, like some chicken or fish. But you can also get it if that bacteria has been spread around the kitchen. That's why there's Lysol, antibacterial kitchen cleaner. As it cleans, it kills the bacteria and keeps them from spreading, which may help keep you from getting sick. Get Lysol, antibacterial kitchen cleaner.
Lysol spray use number 111. That slimy stuff in the recycling bin. Lysol disinfectant spray. There's nothing this can't do.
Intermission, the show that asks, how much do you really know about the silver screen?
Brought to you by the makers of Dimetap.
Although his godfather later brought him great success, what director got his first big break in 1963 with Dementia 13, a low-budget horror story? On our 10-point scale, this question has a difficulty rating of 6.
When Jeffrey catches a cold, we see the pediatrician.
I love my pediatrician. He's my dad.
He recommends Dimetap Elixir. Jeffrey really likes the grape taste.
Alcohol-free Dimetap, the brand pediatricians recommend most for colds.
On ski patrol, I face brutal cold all day. I protect my lips with Chapstick Medicated.
Chapstick Medicated is triple medicated to protect, moisturize, and relieve dry, chapped lips. And the tingle tells you it's working. Chapstick, serious lip care.
In 1972, The Godfather won the Oscar for Best Picture and made Francis Coppola one of Hollywood's leading directors.
Mark and I were just here doing our Ed McMahon. We're not going to do it tonight, but we were just practicing it for our... You know, we're going to start a thing here called the Top 1 list. Really? Yeah. You know, he's got the top 10. They did us tonight. You saw that, didn't you? We got zinged by Dave tonight. We're going to start the Top 1 list here tomorrow night with just one thing on it. Guess what it might be about? Tomorrow night, Ariana Huffington and Ice-T. Later this week, Kelsey Grammer. Thank you all for watching. Drive safely on the way home. Sleep tight, America, and good night, everybody.
They tunneled their way out of a Florida prison, but now it's the end of the road for some of the escapees. The latest on CBS News, up to the minute.
When an accident leads to rage,
You could have killed him!
can a mother face herself?
I hit him as hard as I could. I hate you!
Picket Fences Friday. This is CBS.